tornadoes of fire. It's beautiful. It's perfect. It gives you an idea of the horror of what we're talking about. This is the story right now. Nothing is more important than this. Not Jimmy Carter, not Greenland, not any of that stuff. This is it. It is smacking you in the face. It is saying, look what can be done. Ladies and gentlemen, my friends, buckle up. Because what I'm about to tell you, what I'm about to lay down, is the truth. The whole truth. Nothing but the truth. But the wildfires that are turning California into a living nightmare, a hellscape, straight out of some dystopian nightmare. We're not talking about your average campfire gone wild here. We're diving deep into the abyss, the chasm, devoid of corruption, incompetence, and downright sinister machinations orchestrated by the deep state, the shadow government, and their globalist cronies. Let's start with the so-called leadership in California, shall we? Specifically, the bumbling, fumbling figure known as Governor Gavin Newsom, or as everybody calls him now, including President Trump, Gavin Newscum. This benighted moonbat, this little boy, who's supposed to be at the helm of guiding the state through crises, has instead turned California into a tinderbox, a laughingstock, waiting for the slightest spark. His priorities? Not the safety and the welfare of Californians. Oh, no. Instead, he's been busy pushing this nonsense, this psychotic agenda, diversity, equity, and insanity. That's what it is. Which, let me tell you, has nothing to do with fighting fires, keeping people safe, but you knew that. So why, you ask, why would a state with resources and wealth beyond measure be reduced to ashes? Because Newscum and his ilk have been too busy playing politics, engaging in virtue signaling and this ridiculous nonsense, this strange, I don't know what it is, bending the knee to the UN's globalist policies, this ridiculous left-wing propaganda that aim to control every aspect of your lives, including how much water we could use. Remember rainwater limitations? Remember when he refused to sign the Water Restoration Declaration? That's right, he chose to protect some insignificant fish over ensuring there was enough water to fight fires when they inevitably came. Now let's talk about these fires. The Palisades fire, the Eden fire, and all the other blazes that have erupted like some kind of apocalyptic prophecy. Lahaina, go down the list. They're not just natural disasters. They're the result of a negligence, of a corruption, and perhaps just something worse, a sinister plan by the shadow government. How did people know this was coming? Because the signs were all there. I mean, this Santa Ana winds, the parched vegetation, the blatant disregard for forest management. How did they know it was coming? How did people know this was coming? Why was fire insurance canceled at the last moment? Was it because the insurance companies knew something the public didn't? Were they tipped off by the deep state? Knowing full well that these fires were going to be catastrophic, that would have bankrupted everything. It's suspicious, to say the least. The liberal politicians, with their heads buried in the sand, looked the other way when warnings were sounded. They were too busy with their woke agendas, pushing for green energy policies without ensuring that the infrastructure was there to back them up. And meanwhile, the forest became overgrown, a perfect fuel for the inferno that followed. You couldn't write this better. And let's not forget the fire department, under the leadership of a chief more concerned with lesbian diversity quotas than with ensuring that hydrants were filled and that planes were ready. What good is a diverse team if they can't even fight a fire because there's no water? This is the result of years of mismanagement, focusing on the wrong battles, while the real war against nature's fury, tornadoes of fire, was left unhinged and unmanaged. And the conspiracy, as you see, runs deep. You've got to ask yourself, why now? Why, when California is already on its knees with economic issues, homelessness, and political turmoil, do these fires erupt with such ferocity now? Is it to distract about the failures of the current administration, or perhaps is it to a larger plan to reshape the state, to push through land grabs or new environmental policies under the guise of some kind of an emergency measure? We're seeing a pattern here, my friends. From the mismanagement of water resources to the last-minute cancellation of fire insurance, from the neglect of forest floors to the focus on DEI over disaster preparedness, it all stinks of a plot thicker than the smoke that chokes Los Angeles. And the globalists, the UN, and the shadow government have their hands all over this, manipulating the weather perhaps, or at least taking advantage of natural conditions to further their agenda. They want control. They want chaos, because in chaos, they can implement the order they desire. Donald Trump called it out, and they hate him for it. He's the only one who's had the guts and the cojones to point out the emperor has no clothes, that California's leadership is non-existent, that it's failed its people in the most fundamental of ways. But remember something. This isn't just about one state or one leader. It's about a system that's so broken, so corrupt, that it can't even protect its citizens from literal fire. It's about a globalist agenda that sees disaster as an opportunity, as a chance for growth, realignment, movement. So as you watch these homes burn, as you see the skies darken with smoke, as you see this orange color, know this. It's not just the wind or the dry brush. It's a symptom of a much larger, much darker conspiracy. And unless we wake up right now, unless we demand accountability and competence and justice over this, we're going to be seeing these natural disasters over and over again. Think I'm exaggerating? Think I'm exaggerating? Better think again, my friend. Well, what do you think? Put your thoughts and comments down. I want to hear from you, your thoughts, your ideas. Comment, dear friends. Comment as you see fit.